Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. George Bush came out of some hole and addressed some troops, telling them, we can defeat the stigma of post-traumatic stress. You know how you defeat post-traumatic stress, George Bush? Former President George Bush, war criminal George Bush. You know how you defeat that? By not sending them over there in the first place. That's how you do that. You know how you support the troops? By keeping them at home. That's how you support the troops. That's how you prevent those people from getting battered. If you had a society that functioned, and yes, I'm hard on the troops when I'm talking about this stuff, or hard on the military. Because let's stop with the lie. You're doing ghastly things. And it's not done to protect us. It's done to hurt other people and for geopolitical influence. That's the honest truth. That's the honest truth. You can call me an asshole for saying it, but that's the honest truth. This guy should be in prison. This guy should be in prison. Is torture against the law or not? Yes or no? If it is against the law, and he's saying that he approved it, he should be in prison. Is attacking a country that did nothing to us, killing 1 million Iraqis, is that against the law or not? Now, if you say that's not against the law, then you can say the president can do whatever the hell the president wants in that office. Is it against international law? Murdering 1 million people? Because that's literally what's taking place. Americans think that just because their president is in a suit and just because he has some level of presidentialness about him, that the things he's doing is not as ugly and nasty and as ghastly as any particular person that's in any particular cave trying to attack the United States. Whether you're talking about religion, whether you're talking about political ideology, those things are the same. A fundamentalist in religion is just as bad as a fundamentalist in their ideology. This idiot attacked a country that did nothing to us. He smashed a country to smithereens. He chest thumped as people died that did nothing to us. He lied us into a war. Did they have weapons of mass destruction or not? Did they have weapons of mass destruction or not? And if they did not, you've just invaded a country and murdered 1 million people for no reason. That's what took place. Anybody else would have been horrified by what took place. The other countries, you would imagine, would have been horrified by what took place. But they weren't. They weren't. This idiot still is finger painting today. He's doing books on painting. He murdered 1 million people. He's doing books on painting. Can you imagine that? In what are the contexts? Can you make decisions that get 1 million people murdered by your actions? Actions that was completely unjustified by the information at his disposal. If he wasn't so damn inept and at his own compound for God knows how long, maybe he would have seen information related to, hey, this looks a little weird. I think somebody's trying to hit us. But no, he was incompetent. We got hit on 9/11. And nobody bitched at him about it. Nobody pushed him on it. For the most part, the country rallied around him. And with that effort and with that rally, he said, hey, let's go and attack a country that did nothing to us and murder 1 million of its civilians. 1 million of its citizens. Let's destroy that country and have those people streaming into other countries around the Middle East. Let's create the precursors for ISIS. Let's do that. And there's no consequence. There's no consequence. Nobody says anything to him. Nobody puts him in prison. Nobody even threatens to put him in prison in this country. He's still looked at as an actual president. He's actually out here addressing the troops that he himself sent into a war zone for no reason. If you want to support the troops, tell me which is better. Sending them into a hellhole or sending their ass home. Tell me which one. He is this angers me because ultimately you have a war criminal who's still walking around with no issue, no restraints on his actions. Understand what I'm saying? A war criminal. Think of any African dictator. If you think of any African dictator that did what George Bush did, his ass would be hanged. He would have been hanged. He's out here dressing the troops like he's the president. The man invaded the country and killed 1 million people. Why does he get a pass? Why does he get a pass with us? Honestly, I'm asking the question, why does he get a pass? Right in the bottom, why does he get a pass for killing 1 million people? Explain this to me. Explain this to me, honestly. Explain this to me. He's walking around. At one point, he was selling a book about painting. I keep saying finger painting because he acted like a goddamn child. But a book on painting. A murderer of 1 million people. This is what a book on painting. This is what I mean when I say progressives look at the world and think to themselves, what is fucking wrong with these people? Why are these people robots? Why are they not looking at this person as a war criminal? He killed 1 million people. I know he's wearing a suit. He's still a war criminal. He's still a war criminal. Yes, I dropped my ink pen. Somebody needs to take a drink. This bugs the shit out of me. It bugs the shit out of me. Because it means we don't value their lives. That ultimately, those people that we've murdered, the families that we destroyed, we go on about our way, eating our cornflakes, playing our Xbox, watching our movies. They don't matter. That's the part that burns. They don't matter. When we talk about our troops and everything else, we talk about, quote unquote, our troops. We don't talk about the people those troops are murdering. Those people don't count. When we talk about Iraq, we don't talk about their losses. We talk about ours. We talk about all these things related purely to us, not the damage that we cause. Obama was killing 90%, or 90% of the people that were being struck in those drone strikes were civilians. How can you say you're fighting terrorism at that point? You're just murdering people. Every so often you hit a terrorist. That's literally, that's not hyperbole. Unfortunately, that's not hyperbole. That is literally the situation in which it presents ourselves. I'm making the point that you can only do that if the people don't matter. Would the United States be okay doing that in France, England, Germany, anywhere in Europe? No. Why are they okay with doing it in those Muslim countries? I'm making this point that if the Muslims matter to us, if we saw them as actual people, there is no way that that behavior would be allowed. I'm saying that the very fact that that behavior takes place is some condemnation on us in regards to how we see them. We don't see them as people. They're just figments of our imagination. This president, who's a war criminal, can bally about, say these things to the troops as if he's some kind of presidential thing instead of a murderer. And he can go about his way, selling more books on paintings. Now, in the society to which we exist in, because those people don't matter, the people who he murdered don't matter, that guy is okay. That's an amazing thing. I'm sorry, that's an amazing thing. That's an amazing reality they have to deal with. Yeah, that's an amazing reality they have to deal with. George Bush is a goddamn war criminal. He should be in prison. He should be under the prison. He should be under the prison. If not court-martialed and if not hanged. Yes, I said it. If you're going to kill 1 million, think about think about the gravity of that. Not just the number. Think about the gravity of it. 1 million people. What does 1 million people look like? What does 1 million dead bodies look like? Those are on his head. Nobody told him to invade Iraq. He himself made the decision as George Bush to invade Iraq. He said they had weapons of mass destruction. They did not have weapons of mass destruction. They didn't have squat. And it had nothing to do with attacking us on 9/11. You attacked the country for no reason. You got us into a war under false pretenses. And yes, those people are going to take a massive penalty because you've murdered 1 million of them. Where's your cost? Where's your penalty? There's no fuck up or there's no crime for failure in that level where you kill that many people, you can just escape. This blows my mind in regards to what this country, how this country views itself and how this country views these other things around the world in relation to itself. It just blows me away. Those were actual people, believe it or not. They were real people. Go to your job. You see Tom? Yes, there was a guy just like Tom. You see Bob? Yes, there was a guy just like Bob. Those people were extinguished for his idiocy. And he's talking to the troops right now, giving them some faint congratulatory thing that doesn't mean squat, because those people have post-traumatic stress, because he, George Bush, put them into a war that they didn't need to be in, and in the process murdering a lot of other people. Meaning in the same way that these people have stress, the people who lived through the murders, what do you think their lives are like? What do you think their lives are like living in Iraq that's been destroyed in such a way? What do you think? What do you think? You think this guy should still be walking around with the damage, the death, and destruction that he himself was responsible for? I don't think so. I think he's actually in chains. He should be put under a prison. So I'll leave it at that. All right, guys. If you enjoyed the content, feel free to share, write, subscribe. You can always support the work of the page.